Welcome back to Bits and Bytes Gaming. My name is Pascal Takaya and you're watching Instant Replay, Episode 5. The 90s truly were a treasure trove of 16-bit gaming goodness. The SNES brought us such epic titles in 1994 as Square's Final Fantasy VI. The same year, Blizzard Entertainment, who would later become known for releasing games like Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, and StarCraft, released a game on the SNES called Blackthorne. In contrast to some of their later games, Blackthorne was actually a much slower-paced action platformer. The story of Blackthorne, though not particularly original, is as follows. Somewhere in the deep reaches of space, the planet Tool sits quietly. The evil warlord, named Sarlacc, which may sound familiar, is preparing his troops for one final push against the Andrathi people inhabiting the planet, the humanoid race. 20 years earlier, the Andrathi king sent his only son, Prince Kyle, to Earth to keep him out of harm's way. Time has gone by and Kyle has turned into a muscle-bound base marine type. Of course, it is up to Kyle to return back to Planet Tool and defeat Sarlacc and set things right for his people. The actual gameplay of Blackthorne seems immediately familiar to anybody who had ever played Jordan Mechner's original Prince of Persia game prior to this. That game, released in 1989, featured for the most part, the exact same running and jumping that Blackthorne does. In fact, even the animations can be very similar. Also from that game, things like collapsing platforms and floor switches that have to be pushed, very similar to that game. One of the coolest features about Blackthorne is the deliberate combat mechanic. As you can see, Kyle is able to hug the wall in order to escape projectiles and attacks and explosives and such that his enemies can throw at him. Unfortunately, they are able to use the exact same tactic. Another feature that turns Kyle into a little bit more of a badass roughneck is the fact that he wields throughout the whole game a double-barrel shotgun as his weapon of choice. Of course, Kyle does have a few things up his sleeve if things become too hairy. The hover bomb is an excellent one-hit kill. However, enemies can use this bomb as well, so Kyle does well to hug the wall in the background to avoid it. Should Kyle require a vertical boost, a levitator will give him some quick upward mobility to reach high, out-of-reach ledges. One of the most important things Kyle has on his side is, of course, a truly kick-ass portrait for the in-game dialogue. Of course, there is a very good reason why Kyle's arsenal includes so many heavy weapons and useful gadgets. The game throws many enemies your way, not all of whom are easily dispatched. These blue war orcs, for example, are so heavily armored that even multiple shotgun blasts at point-blank range do nothing to penetrate their thick armor. Stepping on floor panels while running through the halls of Tool may trigger machine gun turrets to pop out of the ceiling. These turrets will mercilessly cut down both yourself as well as any unfortunate slaves caught in the crossfire, and are extremely difficult to dodge or damage. In later levels, you will see that not only are monsters the enemy, but there are also factions of traitorous humans armed to the teeth in their own right who will cut you down. Now, you could certainly be forgiven for thinking how incredibly awesome a weapon a double-barrel shotgun is. However, the fact is that the shotgun just isn't strong enough to take on all of the game's enemies as they come. Kyle is able to receive upgrades to his gun from the natives, making it both faster and stronger as the game progresses. And then, of course, there are the computer terminals, which operate shield barriers throughout the level. They have to be destroyed, usually by bomb, in order for Kyle to proceed. Sometimes a hover bomb will do the trick. Other times a remote control wasp has to be flown in between tight-fitting spaces to get to the computer terminal and blow it up. Destroy this terminal to open a door in this part of the level. Of course, the guards posted on the other side of the door require some different type of finesse. The game is constantly throwing challenging situations like this at the player. See a platform on the first pass through the level that you weren't able to access, come back later with a levitator or some other item to gain access to it. Here we see a bridge that's inoperational. Kyle has to backtrack to a previous bridge he crossed, remove the bridge key, and take it back to the new obstacle that he has to get across. Insert the bridge key and continue on with the level. Eventually, Kyle will locate the wizard Galadriel, who is also the one who placed him on planet Earth 20 years earlier. The wizard will transport Kyle out of the mines of Androth and into the Corellian Forest, level 2. The game is split up into 4 separate areas with a total of 17 levels between them. Each level is fairly lengthy and twisty, requiring plenty of backtracking. However, there is usually one critical path through the levels, so it's almost impossible to get lost in the long run. Level 3 will see Kyle cross the Wasteland Desert, and Level 4 will have Kyle finally enter Sarlacc's Shadow Keep to reclaim the Throne of Tool for himself. The 32X version of the game also included one additional world not found in any other of the game's releases, the Snowy Mountains. Generally speaking, Blackthorne is a very smooth gameplay experience. However, a couple of unfortunate design choices make it possible for players to literally get stuck in a level and not be able to finish. The game gave me exactly one hover bomb to blast open the security door. However, since I've just exploded it against the side of this NPC's head, I'm now unable to get through the door and the level will never get completed. Another example shows Kyle stuck in a pit with 2 NPCs who are keeping him from being able to climb back up. Every time I try to get to the ledge and haul my way back out of the pit, one of the NPCs blocks me and instead I end up in conversation with him. However, compared to the fun experience that this game offers, these are small problems indeed. The game is challenging and doesn't hold your hand. Sometimes a lot of progress can be wiped out instantaneously by one slip and fall from a great height. But this is one of those classic pieces of gaming history that shouldn't be missed. If you can find it, do yourself a favor and pick it up. And that once again wraps up this episode. Visit us again next time when I attempt to go all digital with the NES game Kabuki Quantum Fighter. Head over to bnbgaming.com to let us know your thoughts on this episode or share some input on future editions. If you enjoyed the series, like us on Facebook/Bits and Bytes Gaming and follow us on Twitter for the latest updates. In the meantime, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time. Goodbye.